The spoilers have been fine. I'm underwhelmed with the set now, like just singles.
I mean, the vamps are doing really well, but I don't want to play vampires.
I don't know, and I don't think they're doing better than what's already out.
I mean, yeah, Midnight Hunt is pretty good. Hell, I even think Zendikar Rising is a power level higher than the rest of the shit that we have.
Yeah, I would say there's a couple cards. Green is good.
Green's fucked right now. I mean, Green's fucking even in the I know this is like not the theme, but in the standard format, Green is demolishing everything.
Yep, yep. Green Stompy. And red
Which
does.
I'm totally fine with.
Yeah, I think it's good to allow more people to have like a shot at it. I just think though, like it's lazy design, right?
As
Like,
far as like the designing of cards or just the deck.
yeah, like in one way or another, right? Like to cool, green gets trample, green gets like win cons pretty much, right? Like not real win cons, but like 3/4 with reach. Like in standard, that's really freaking good for like 3 mana, 4 mana, a 3/4 with reach, like a stupid spider or something like that. Plus you have like Scute Swarm, like Scute
Dude,
Swarm.
Scute Swarm. Oh, I love Scute
Well,
Swarm.
and then you have the thing that makes all your non-token creatures lands.
What is
That's
that?
five.
Oh, right. That's from Zendikar, man.
Yeah.
So good.
And then the one that lets you play the other mono green that lets you play lands from your graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yep.
abilities trigger twice.
Dude, this gives me like PTSD from Moss. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
fuck.
I played and I don't have any visuals, but I played against a guy last week on Friday. And I kind of like just having this open conversation, and we could find other people to join it too. I played against a guy and he's playing Omnath, and it's not like an older version, it's one of the newer versions of Omnath. And I'm like, oh, like green red angry Omnath, right? And so I'm sitting across the table. Guy doesn't looks like he's older, so I assume he knows what he's doing. And so then I'm like watching him play, and he's like dropping planes. And I'm like, I'm like, what kind of trickery is this? And then apparently it was a pre-con, but he lost his commander. He lost Ubun.
So
And he
why did
didn't
he
want
fuck
to say
this?
anything about it. But I'm like, bro, like, like I didn't care. Like he could have got out his phone, like he could have just pulled it up. I might have had one sitting around.
Oh, Boone is not that expensive, man.
No, but he misplaced it and wanted to play the deck, but he didn't want to tell us. So he was like playing these white lands. And I was like, hey man, is it your first time playing? Like you can just tell us. He's like, no, I play all the time. And I was like, well, you can't really play white in these decks with a green, red commander. And then like I think he is somewhat newer because his buddy played Upheaval, which is
Is
banned.
what?
Upheaval.
Uh, I mean, I can't say shit. I played a band card recently.
Yeah, it happens. But Upheaval is like, I mean, it was like his win con.
Uh,
Let me pull it up. It's like a really,
oh, Boone is only like fucking 75 cents.
yeah,
What
I
the
bought
fuck?
foils.
Damn.
I'm really thinking about checking out, what's it called? Well, I kind of like this view. I'm sharing my screen in a second. Flesh and Blood.
Oh, I know what that
About
is.
it, but they have a multiplayer version. Flesh and Blood is it's a trading card game, but it's gaining a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
but
Yeah,
this
I
card
forgot.
is banned, right? So
I could see why.
yeah,
Dude,
return
that is a 6 drop.
yeah. But it returns all permanents. So you float all your mana. And then you cast like omniscience, you cast anything.
Yeah, that's
So
fucked.
it's not good though. In my opinion, it's not. And like it's bannable. Like it just, I mean, imagine like restarting the game.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get that. Like, I understand like why it's banned because that's hella. I mean, I mean, Psychonic Rift kind of does it, but in a better way. I mean, sure, it's a little bit more mana, but like throw that in Simic and you're fucked. Or you
Yeah.
aren't. You're winning. You're going to win the game.
Yeah.
So it happened with Super Friends a while back. No, I mean, eventually we realized like, oh, we should probably kill him first. and then we did. And then eventually the token deck won, which was essentially my Simic deck, but another color as well. I was like, all right, whatever.
But and part of me is like, do you want to build a deck to play? Do you want to play? And this would be a great topic for an episode. Do you want to build a deck to play? Do you want to build a deck to play with others? Do you want to play a deck that wins? Like, there's lots of ways to build a deck. If you build Super Friends deck, you only get one shot, right? Like, and then everyone's gonna say that's a Super Friends deck.
Yeah.
And then as soon as someone says Super Friends, people are gonna be, that's an infect deck. Same thing with that, right? He's playing infect. Okay, he dies first. And there's certain deck archetypes that are like so taboo that by building them, you're only going to be able to play it once in one play group, right? Like, you can't play that deck over and over again. Like, my friend built, oh, I think you have this deck too, the black Sir Conrad.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of those decks that I'm literally like, that deck is, it's okay. It's not like I need it banned from the table or, but at some level, it's like the power level doesn't match the higher tiers, but it doesn't match the lower tiers either.
I mean, Sir Conrad, I definitely understand, because like the amount of just ticking that you do,
Yeah.
and then also there is an infect wincon and so on and so forth. And my Conrad deck is not finished. It's almost finished. I think I need 2, maybe 3 more cards. But I've played it once and it worked fine, but I didn't get to see its full potential because I got killed, because eventually people get annoyed with taking one, and then because I just mill people over and over again. And then I have this 6-drop that you sack a creature, or X creatures or whatever, and then it pings you for 1, and then you bring X creatures from the graveyard to the board, pings you again for that amount. So and then you can just continue that cycle over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people just get annoyed.
That too, right? So
Mind Crank is so good in that.
Even exiling your graveyard does that. Like, there's exiling creatures from your graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate the card. It's just a matter of, it's too meta dependent, in my opinion. Like, if you're playing a creature meta deck, but now imagine playing against 3 Super Friends decks.
Well, the thing is, like, my Conrad deck is extremely creature heavy.
Yeah.
That's based around like, like when an ETB everyone sacks something, or I have a Rankle,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. So like, even if it's all Super Friends, for instance, well, if it's all Super Friends, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
But if it's all like pretty much non-creature decks, I can still get them for a good chunk.
Yeah.
And then if I can at least tutor for the infect card and just keep going as fast as I can before they kill it, then I think I could take out one person.
Yeah, and I don't know, because I guess that's what I'm talking about, is like multiple instances of multiple games where you might take out that person once, but when they play against you the same deck, would you be able to take them out again? And that's what I'm trying to avoid with deck building, right? Like, so let's say you got a play group and you got 3 other players, normal group of 4, and you do Sir Conrad, and everyone's like, holy cow, you beat us. That's awesome. Next game you play Sir Conrad, I think it will change the dynamic of that game to such a point where you may not win again.
Oh yeah, they'll probably target me, because especially if they see the setup, like I don't have a necessarily like combo, kind of. I mean, I do have a combo, but it's all based on like, milling. But if they see that I'm comboing out with, say, like what is it? Like, say Mariki, I have an infinite combo in there. And so like they would yeah, that's a card.
I played that last night, right?
Yeah, well.
So this is like a good example of this. So, and it was funny the way I played it, because I played Havoc Festival. I was playing my mana burn deck, the Jun guy. I don't like that deck, and I got like, let's actually do that today, because I have the deck and we'll go to EDH rec, but it doesn't do anything, right? It ramps. Like I have all the mana in the world, but I got mana flooded last night. But it was fun because I played this card, right? And everybody's like, what the heck? Like that card's so broken. And it's actually a lot of fun. And I tell people I'm only playing it for can't gain life because it would shut down my deck. And then at the beginning of each player's upkeep, they lose half their life. So I let it go around the table. So if somebody's at 40, they go to 20. Someone was at 38, they go to 19.
Mhm.
And then it gets to my the turn before my end step, and I blew it up. I nature's claimed it. And so everyone's like, what the hell? Like, so I blew up my own enchantment, which was kind of a cool thing to do. But that's the only thing that I did all game.
Interesting.
And I'm looking at that deck, and it's what's his name? Let me see here. Advanced search. Commander is green, red. Oh, I gotta type in legendary, don't I? What's his name?
What's he do?
He gives you pay one and you give somebody Jund, and then you can he has vigilance. He's a beast, I want to say. He's from Commander Legends. Pay one, give Jund. Oh, that's a funny name though. Pay one, give Jund.
Let's see.
There's a crash.
You said he's a beast. You talking about? Oh, you talking about the Yurlok or whatever?
Yeah.
Yurlok, the scorched trench trash.
Yeah, and I feel like I have
Thrash.
all the so let's check this out. Because I got to the point where I had a great opening hand. I had 3 or 4 lands of all the colors. I had a ramp spell. And then I had Havoc Festival. And I think I had the creature ramp. I had Wood Elves. So I was like, cool, I'll probably draw into something bigger. But this guy. So Yurlok has vigilance. I guess not a beast, he's a shaman. And a player losing unspent mana causes that player to lose that much life. And you pay 1 and you give somebody Jund. And I think my curve is about right. Some of these cards, Mana Barbs is in there, Crackle, Worst Hole, Heartbeat of Springs. Belby's not in there, but Belby could hurt myself too. Overabundance, Magus is in there. This card is not in there, but I'm looking for wincons. Wound Reflection is in there, but a lot of these just generate you a shit ton of mana. This I have, but it's not in the deck. It'd be kind of interesting, but getting to 100 isn't easy. This is in the deck.
I mean, it can be with comboing out. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if you can't find a combo, or if you can't find a win con, just combo, just combo out. Fuck it.
Well, and I guess I could always do the I can do the torments in the deck. I don't have exsanguinate yet, because that's actually pretty good. You pay black, and you're automatically gaining. That's a $9 card though.
That's a $9 card.
Yeah.
I gotta see if I have that. I'm pretty sure I do.
Yeah, I did at one point. I don't think I have Zozu in the deck, but at some level, this is the kind of deck that I was talking to you about, where at some point you play a card like this, it gets removed, but you're still enemy number 1. Hellkite Tyrant I could put in. Oh I love this card in the deck. I need a, oh, it went up to 17 bucks. Xancha Sleeper Agent, where you give it to an opponent. So when you're giving everybody Jund, it makes the controller lose 2 life and you draw a card. Any player may activate this ability.
That's
So
pretty good.
instead of them taking the 3, somebody else takes 2 for each one. But I'm like still trying to figure out what's a good win con for Jund that makes sense in the deck.
Hmm.
Like Torment's good. Like you just drop a shit ton of mana.
Yeah.
Crackle with Power. But I'm not generating that much mana.
Up to X targets. I mean, if you can figure out a way to combo out, then you can just like kill everyone in 1 turn.
But I'm
As far
just
as like mana goes. Jund is, so it's black, red, green.
yeah.
I'm such a blue player. It's really hard for me to think without blue cards.
The big one is your World Fire Dragon combo with Animate Dead. But it doesn't really fit the theme.
Yeah.
Aldamri's been here. I did not know this is a card.
It's pretty good. So you're essentially just trying to give someone an immense amount of mana, at least 40 mana, and then kill them.
Over time, right? So it doesn't all have to happen at once. I'm actually trying to get them to tap their lands. Whenever a player taps a land or mana during another player's turn, destroy that land. Whenever a land becomes tap all lands that controller controls. So you're forcing them to use all their mana. Now, when you're using, where is it, that stupid creature that times 3 all your mana source. When you give them 3 mana, you're actually giving them 9.
Oh, you're talking about that 7 drop. Oh, that one. Well, no, that one does. So that one would be good in the deck for sure. So that, and then like I have the card that you're talking about. It's the 3 green 4 colorless from exile cards from your graveyard equal to, I think it was Zendikar Rising, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that card is mad fire. I want to put that in AC.
Yeah.
But it's kind of unnecessary, but I still want to do it.
Was that like Ashland played it on game nights.
Did she really?
Beginning of each player's draw steps. But I don't see any of these as like straight wins.
Yeah, and I think like drawing a card pinging for 1 is a little slow in a deck like this. Reclamation would be decent in this. And then I looked at a bunch of
Reclamation,
Wilderness Reclamation.
I'm pretty sure before. Yeah, and I have that. He had to. I don't have this card yet. I need to buy one.
Chief Ascension. Yeah, dude.
I hope it gets reprinted. It'd be cool to reprint that in Vampires.
Infinitely untap
so good,
man. And he would just board wipe.
Oh, it has a vampire. It's called Blood Chief.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
I hate your deck, and then plays.
I mean, I hope they do, but like, also, like, I don't know if they'd reprint that. That thing was a shit show back in the day.
Granted, it's the same combo.
I mean, it's a shit show now.
Well, and I just have a bunch of things that produce mana, the deck list, right? And mana doublers. And I don't want to take apart the deck because the deck is pretty good. Like Zakama I have though, Zakama just does it for itself. Right? Like you get to a certain power, like or not power, but a certain amount of lands for Zakama, and you're blowing up 3 to 4 things a turn.
Oh, you're talking about the fucking 3-headed dinosaur?
Yeah.
Like I get that.
Because Mixed is in the dinosaur deck too. You tap 1 land, you blow up like it's not one thing, like an enchantment, or you're doing 3 damage.
Yeah,
but I just don't see the win
to win in any regard, but I do find it like there's one thing. I understand that like I think it's accomplishable. Like, to be honest, like that's cool. Mariki deck,
like rule 0 kind of thing.
Like realistically, there is one singular win con,
but
and
like
it's
there's other like
I don't pretty much combo out with a
infinite combo go off.
With a lab.
I think I might have seen it maybe once or twice on game night.
If I'm playing against Super Friends, like my deck
Most
doesn't do shit
decks
because it's
have
literally
at
just to
least some
tap
kind
to
of infinite
take
combo. I
creatures.
need
So
to
if
get
you
the
have a
combo
win con
that's-
that's a
I didn't
creature, it'll
realize
take
that I
your
have
shit.
a weird combo with it.
So
What
that's the
is
only.
this?
Oh.
Keeper of the
I had all
Progenitus.
these, right?
That's so
Like-
good. These go infinite. That player adds 1 mana of his or her mana pool.
That is pretty
My
good.
Keeper might be in the
Ooh,
deck.
those braces.
See, there's
though.
something.
Yeah,
Just to
that,
generate
shit.
mana, and especially if you have like
yeah, I mean, I
you
think
could
with
run
a little bit more like
what is it, Terrorbird as well, Torbird.
Your
Yeah.
fuck.
yeah.
Just doubling any
Um,
kind of damage.
I
Or
wanna
what's
get
the
Ascension so
companion
bad.
that you could do?
Anyways,
Oh, you have to do
I
odd
think with a little bit
numbers,
of
though.
love, you
Yeah.
could potentially
Yeah, and I
like,
already have
a
that
lot of
deck.
synergy with this deck to where it's like like it's
I have
fun,
that with
but
my
like,
my fire deck. My
you're not like too
dragons.
slow, or you're not
what-
like
dragons
because
approach.
I guess you are
Mhm.
right. There is
I
politics
should
with
I,
this.
like
'cause
I
you
have a
can give
couple
people
decks that I'm
mana.
willing to do deck techs on.
But it is fun because
but
if
yeah,
if
this
like
one
they have to
it just strikes
end,
me like there's not
a
a
phase,
clear win
and you're like, oh, I
condition.
only need a 2 mana. I'm like,
besides-
well, you're about to get hit for
Like
5
you're talking
damage,
about
so-
bolting somebody pretty much. The
You better
table
fucking figure out
one
how to
at a
use it.
time each turn. So
I
the-
mean,
if you could
Well,
do,
ended up
if
with a
there's any
thing.
way for you to like,
What'd you say?
I'm no, never mind, never mind. I was thinking of another card. Maybe adding
Oh, this is
landfall.
kinda funny,
I think
like
could work.
this is
Could
kinda
add
cool
some
that we
form
could
because I
do
mean, like
too,
realistically, unless you
tap
can
Curion
force people to
Ranger,
produce
it
like
has haste
an
through
absurd amount of
this.
mana, then the
If
win
you
con is
tap,
really
we
going to be
keep on bouncing it
slow.
for green mana.
But I mean,
it would be really cool.
so there's land
to
destruction,
to
which
be
is really
able to-
good.
is there a
I'm
way
always
to,
a
like,
sucker for land
when you
destruction.
gain a lot of mana,
like a fuckload of mana, that the another person
there's
gains that, or like
ways
it-
to
send giving
whenever
them
it's-
mana
whenever they're
in
dealt
any
damage
regard
to double it and
Yeah,
or triple
because
it.
that
if you could
so
pull
there's that. So you'll be you
you'll
have
be doing
infinite
it a
mana, giving good it to chunk of
at
damage
least
one other
Yeah.
person, then
but
that person at least is going to die. And then if you can,
and
do
then
it
you
to
also
3
have
people,
double
the game's
producing,
fucking
right?
over.
Yeah, I have a lot of doublers.
Well, there's a
I want some that pretty much says you win the game. Where if an opponent would gain that much,
Like, Torment
life,
of
they
the
lose that much
Hellfire
life
is
instead, I
fun.
win the game.
There's
Oh,
an
that
enchantment,
fucking-
but there's also an
Sanguinate, you
instant
do that
version
by
of it.
10, you're gaining 30 life. So
Yeah.
someone gains 60
You
life,
pretty much
like,
are good
You
there.
don't.
Oh, I
I
know exactly
just-
what you're talking about.
Like you can't
Yeah,
give
we've
them
brought it.
infect
We've
and
actually,
do
I
the
think we've
infect
brought it up
route, right?
almost every episode so far
Yeah,
because it's fucking good.
Conrad wouldn't work. There's a lot of cards
No.
like that. that's
Like,
just
I
like-
need a clear at the end of
almost
each
too good to be
turn,
true.
that player sacrifices an on
Yeah,
tap.
I mean,
I don't
Too easy
have
to
that
pull off.
card.
So
I mean, you could do.
let me get
I'm gonna-
Shroom out.
I'm gonna take a gander at some
spit a combo at you real quick if we're since we're on
some
like,
mana
win
based
combos.
Yeah.
because all of most of
So,
my combos.
mean, I'm
well,
sure
so
everyone
in
knows who
Simic,
Shroom is, it's
I run. I
artifacts.
think we talked about this last
Fucking-
episode. I
that's
run
the
Big Worm,
archetype.
like an
But
an infinite mana combo to make a big ass worm,
let me
and
show you
then in
these
like
combos.
Mariki and in.
I
tested it
have
the other day. I need to
drawing.
work on it a little
I
bit.
have
'cause
a
it's
way
like target player
hair
too slow, and I took out a bunch of counters.
is forced to draw.
Because I'm
like,
okay
X
with
amount
like
of
a
cards
deck
or
being
whatever.
like too
And then I
slow,
have, like
as long as I have like
Shroom. I just
board
like
wipes or
comboing out.
counters.
Shroom,
I
I
Yeah,
haven't
have
done
one.
walking
anything in any
ballista,
regard like
right?
that. Huh?
Yeah, walking ballista.
I
But
sold mine, so I
definitely-
still do not have one, and I didn't realize it was going to jump that.
Like,
hard.
and I also
Yeah.
realized that like
Yeah.
I need a little
They're
bit more
good.
tutoring
Oh,
because I
yeah,
had a
it's-
bunch
it
of
would be
ways to just
extremely
do an
useful in
infinite
a lot of
bounce
my
trigger.
decks.
Or
I mean, really, realistically, anything X wise.
what is it?
Trigger
Shroom
great.
trigger, but because I could clone her, but I didn't have
X amount of mana,
anything
'cause I like
to, making infinite mana.
Yeah.
Do like there, I would have just bounced her infinite
If you
amount of
get
times.
infinite
and
mana,
nothing would
well,
have.
that's what I'm trying to say. If you have a sub-infinite
So-
amount of mana,
Yeah,
like I
because
probably
like
need more card draw.
Oh, this is a
because
pretty cool one.
Prometeo
I
Hellfire
haven't
is in
seen
there.
that one.
What is that?
With the
I'm,
buyback
I'm looking at
reiterate,
like Jund combos and such things like
Interesting.
that, but I don't want to like
'cause you make
just
infinite
throw
mana
this
this
combo
way.
on the deck, and it's like that doesn't really make sense with the theme.
'Cause of the
Yeah.
buyback. As long as
That's one
there's
thing that I've been trying to
6
lean
tap
away
lands,
from is
and then you can do it again.
because both of my Esper decks definitely.
What
have similar
way would you
combos.
be
able
Yeah.
to give the person? I'm trying to think what else has combos.
Most things
Make
have
that
draw
person take that
combos
damage. Like, how does
on the
that work?
decks.
And I'm trying to
Which
figure out
part?
other ways to combo out.
Well, like,
because
because if you yourself have
Well,
infinite
do I
mana,
take the deck apart?
I wouldn't. take the deck
Does
apart.
do
The
you
reason
need
why
to
I say
give that
don't take
mana
the
to
deck
the
apart
other
is because
person,
the
or do
deck
you
has
like
an
how does?
extremely
I just need an
clear
outlet
kind of
for it,
theme,
right? So
And if you can
what
make it
the
work,
infinite
then
mana
it's
for the
cool,
other
because, like,
person
at
is
the end of the day,
untapping
like,
and
I very
tapping your
much
command.
realized by
So,
playing
like, this
Slayers
would
all the
do
damn
it.
time that
Because you
playing
pay
Magic with the
3
same
and you
deck
tap
over
it.
and over again in
You
a
pay
4
3 and you
pod,
tap it.
God forbid a 6.
And I have
Two
Umbra
fucking
Mantles and I have
Yeah.
ley lines. I
So
don't
having
think they're in the
multiple decks with
deck.
different combos, it would be
But
cool.
this would
That's the
give you
reason why
4
I
mana.
like combos. That's why like
So
Sharona
you're
has
giving
such
them
weird,
3 mana.
dumb
That's why
combos
this
where,
deck is
like,
so freaking cool.
it's
Is
interesting. I'm
because
probably not going to win,
you
but if I
can-
can
oh,
get those
crap.
cards out, I'm going to
What the
combo
fuck?
out, and there's really nothing anyone can do about it, and it's so nice. But
so
I mean,
weird.
I would say
But that's why this
It's-
deck is so cool
I
because
think
you
with the
can
right
easily,
powerhouses and
just
a lot
keep
of
on
ramp,
doing
you should be able to
this,
do it. I don't
and
think
then
card
you're
draw would.
generating
I mean, card draw is
3
would be
mana
fucking
to
nice,
use
but,
that, and then on tapping it to retap it. And
I
that
think,
extra
like,
green mana is used to
making sure you
tap
can
it.
produce mana, or making sure the opponent can produce mana, and then making
see.
sure that like. That you
So
have all
would
the
you be
staples out
losing
to
the
where,
game
like,
as well?
if I'm
No,
going to
because
have
you're
1 mana
you have an
on
outlet,
step,
so you're using that 3 mana
disintegrate or whatever,
that you're
that would be, like,
generating
at
to
least
do
a
that.
4
You
turn.
would wouldn't
That's
generate
really
infinite.
good.
That,
You
and
would
then
give them
all
3
like,
at a time on
they
tap.
tap 1 and
You
then
would
4
give them
mana, but they
infinite.
just need to use
Yes.
2 of it.
That's a
You're
win
still
con.
taking
And I don't know if
from-
it would be like probably sub-infinite. It would be
Like, you
close,
could- I
like,
mean, it's not
right?
gonna
They
be
would
win the game
approach.
kinda deck, but you could
they-
definitely
you would
just
only
be
give
like,
them
"I'm
as
going
much
to
as
hit you
what
for a
they
lot
had
of
in
mana.
life.
I'm going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And you would
but
have
I'm going
to
hit
change
so much." And there's
phases.
really no politics in this deck for sure. It's just like, dude,
So,
everyone's dying.
There is
Um,
some politics, though,
in the
because when somebody
Sharoom
moves
deck,
3
I'm
mana-
running Sir Conrad
I mean,
because
sure,
that
but if
makes
you have-
sense.
well, yeah,
And then I'm
that's
running
fair, as long as they can
Ayara
use it all.
Well,
from
so
the
sometimes
3-drop
people you're giving them 3
from
mana,
Thrones.
but
Thrones is so
you're
good.
netting
And then I'm
2.
running. This is where it
And
gets
then
kind of weird.
that's
So
why
I'm
I feel
obviously
like
I'm running the
what
bonds
it is,
where you
like,
gain
some
life,
of
target
these
player or
cards
target
are
opponent
really
loses
good.
that much life.
Not this one. Okay.
But I'm running Doxos,
Like, top is
Blessed by the
okay.
Sun for it.
Yep.
And then I'm running what is this? Vindictive. I almost said spider. Vindictive vampire.
I just think this card.
So when another creature you control dies, you deal 1 damage to each player, and then you gain 1 life. And then I'm running the fucking stupid master thing, the 6-drop. That's like whenever an artifact you control is put in the graveyard from the battlefield, target player loses life equal to this creature's power.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the weird combos that I like to use, but it's like there's a lot of moving parts, so it's fun. And then I have other like random outlets. Like I have big ass artifact creatures. And then I have that whole like what is that one? It's the artifact that like you get +1/+1, I think, for each artifact you control or some shit like that. Some shit like that. And yeah, so just for certain outlets. And then I have the chromatic Orrery, that legendary M21 legendary, which is very nice for like mana, because you would just mill that out, play your commander, and then fonk, you just get out of there.
Yeah, that's pretty good though.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it. It's very much like a game of like I might win, but probably not. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And if I have that mindset of like I'm just going to have fun, I'm not trying to win, versus like slivers. I'm like I'm just gonna hit shit and I'm probably gonna win.
Well, and that's what's cool about it though, too. Like I was trying to explain that to someone else. Is rarely do I play to win anymore. Like it's nice to win, but I don't need to win to like have a good time. And I
Yeah.
find like so many commander players get like stuck in that loop of like being like not uber competitive, but they look at a loss kind of in a different way that I don't know is how they should, right? Like it's weird, right? Like I think they view a loss as a, how do I want to say it? Like as like a moral defeat, or like their deck isn't good. And it's like, no, but you got to kind of play it at a level that is a conversation.
Sure.
If that makes sense. Like it's a conversation like you and I were not doing battle, but we're talking about new things. We're like, it's almost like artwork, right? Like, oh yeah, how do my pieces work with your pieces?
Mhm.
But I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah, that's just the whole rule 0 thing. Like I think the only like if someone combos out and like if someone combos out and explains the combo to me, because that's the biggest thing. If someone's just like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this. If I don't know exactly what's happening, I'll just be like, go through it all because I don't really know what the
Yeah.
fuck's happening. But there's one, and we talk about it, and I keep talking about it. There's one combo that I'm like, I will always be salty if I lose to, and it's Thassa's Oracle. But every other combo, if someone has like 5 million tokens on the board, I'm like, yeah, if I don't top deck a board wipe right now, then I will happily not concede and just die by the fucking squirrels.
Yeah, and I almost feel like with Thassa's Oracle, it's almost like became a meme. Like somebody was posting like, oh, this combo is great with Thassa's Oracle, like the abundance and the new tree thing, like where is I don't remember if it's a tree or not, it might be a beast that every time land enters the battlefield, you draw a card and you may put another land down.
Oh yeah, the Colossus.
Yeah, and someone's like, oh, this combo's great with Thassa's. And the follow-up post is, wow, you finally broke Thassa's Oracle. Great job. It's like, that is so true. Like, where it's like, why the hell would you need to like add another combo piece to that? Why would you, like, what deck would a 6-drop go into that Thassa's Oracle wouldn't already perform by itself?
See, I don't really understand. Yeah, like it's like Thassa's Oracle is really, really good. I get it. And it's cool. Like, I mean, like that's a combo that I think I could be okay with. But probably, I mean, I don't know, probably not. If I'm like in the middle of a game and someone's like, Thassa's Oracle, I'm like, fucking Christ. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's your one drop that you're laying down. But yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
just
It's
like, I
if
just don't get it though, right? Like where, like, that's another one of those things where it's like, cool, you won. But what sucks for some of those players is they get upset when they die first the next game, regardless of like their deck, right? Like they could switch decks. And I've been in so many games where that table's like, I don't give a shit if he changed decks. He dies first. And then you knock him out, and then he's sitting there twiddling his thumbs. And I'm like, sometimes it's almost like self-inflicting wounds, right? Like, why would you make everyone else miserable to not want to play with them again?
yeah, it's also like I find that like sure if I'm pissed, like as long as the guy's not being a fucking dick about it,
Yeah.
like if he does the Thassa's Oracle thing, I'm gonna be pissed because I'm tired of fucking dying to Thassa's Oracle, but I'm not gonna get mad at the player. Like
Yeah.
someone did the what's the Abyss card where you draw half your deck?
Yeah.
He accidentally did that. This is like dead ass. He did it accidentally. He
Yeah.
accidentally drew into it, casted it, and then he drew his half his deck, and then he was like, we're talking turn 3, by the way.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm just gonna and we were playing for a promo pack, and he's like, I'm just gonna win the game to go to game to play another game, and then he just laid it down. So turn 3, drew half his deck, won. And
Yeah.
like I was pissed about it, but I wasn't pissed at the person. But
I don't know, man, because some of those people, when I was in the shop, it was always people coming up, John, this can turn 2 combo. You can turn 0 combo, win this.
Mhm.
And at some level, though, when you're building a deck, it's not like you're mailing a list to somebody and they mail you back the cards. Where I think some of these people
Yeah.
know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, but he was not
There's
being
a promo pack on the line.
yeah, which is fine. Like it was also one of those Tuesdays where we didn't know a promo pack was on the line because as soon as we drew and started, the guy hosting it threw down a promo pack. So it wasn't in the intent of like getting a promo pack. It just kind of happened. But at the same time, it's like he wasn't being a dick about it. And also like no one was like, all right, we're gonna play again.
Yeah.
And we changed decks or did whatever. And then like no one was like, I'm going to target this guy because he won last turn, because
Yeah.
I just view that as bullying and I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just think it's more of a retaliation more than it is bullying. Like, I don't actually believe the guy, like, if you walked in and you're like, hey, this is just a regular sliver deck, I would say bullshit, right?
Well, regular sliver deck is
Like there was only one person and he was playing the indestructible deck and he's like, yeah, this is the only sliver in the deck. And it was. And I was like, oh, okay. Like it was the only indestructible creature in the deck and he would be able to mutate on top of it. And I actually did this with a group and it went well, where I actually flipped over my whole entire cards. I'm like, look through my cards. There's no combos. There's no. And somebody went infinite last night in one of my games, and it didn't upset me, and it didn't make me target that guy again. But I would bet if you look at that guy's deck list, you would find more combos than the oops, I accidentally fell on the infinite mana with defender thing like we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Like where, oh shit, I didn't know this was in the deck. And I think that's different, right? Like where I don't trust somebody who accidentally turned 3 combo and claims they don't know it.
Yeah. No, he knew the combo was in there. He just didn't realize that he was triggering it. For sure. I mean, like, yeah, if anyone like if you have a Peer into the Abyss and you don't think you can go infinite, you're
Yeah.
a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
That card is so good. I mean, like you look that card up once and I'm sure like you'll get the card, but I'm almost positive the literal second thing is to make combos with it because it's so good. Same with Thassa's Oracle.
How much mana is it? It's 4 mana?
It's 7.
How do you get it out?
I don't fucking remember.
Well, and that tells me a lot though. You're casting a 7-drop on turn 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have a like that's why like I don't view it as actual bowling. I view it as more as constructive bowling, right? Like where you're actually trying to teach the person a life skill, right? Like where, in my opinion, that would be like the kid shoving you in the locker. And then you say, well, I don't want to call him a name and I don't want to call him an asshole. And I don't want to tell it. I'm not going to tell the teacher. Telling the teacher would be like going up to the game the game shop guy and say, what the heck, man, we're playing casually.
Yeah. I mean, that's big fair. I mean, to be fair, I am not like this saint or whatever. I did play Mariki game 2 and I kept stealing his commander. So like,
yeah, and
I'm not to blame. I am one of those people. Well, to be fair, he kept swinging at me because I just had Mariki and I was like, and I would tell him, bro, I'm going to steal your commander. And he was like, well, I don't know have anyone else to target. And so I fucking took it.
Yeah.
And then I untapped with it. And then he tried to get it back. And I was like, that's not how Mariki works. And he was like, oh, I shouldn't have attacked you. And I was like, I told you that.
Yep.
Stop swinging at me. Don't steal shit.
Yeah, and I like playing the game where you do have a bazooka in your back pocket. Right.
Yeah.
Where that's different, but I do feel maybe you're playing at a different level than I am, where I didn't have a problem. Like, what was the last night? It was I didn't have a problem with dropping Approach to the Second Sun, and I lost.
Oh, you were trying to clone it?
No, I just played it once, and I had a board state and exiled all of his stuff. And so I exiled both boards, but I was building a hand, right? So I knew I could exile the entire board. And
Gotcha.
I knew once I wiped it, I could lay out and play not an extra turn spell, but I would be able to build my board back better. And then he generates an infinite combo. And I was like, oh, cool. I mean, I didn't know he was playing infinite combos, but that didn't bother me either.
Yeah, the problem is with the play group or the shop that I go to is they definitely pro proxy. So like there are like most decks have combos in them. But it's cool because it's a challenge for sure, because I try not to. There are a couple cards that I need to order, but they're under $1. I think we talked about this before, but everything else is proxied because they're in other decks.
Yep.
Or because I don't want to use them. Like for instance, my Ugin. My alt art, I'm like, I'm never gonna fucking use that. It's staying in the thing. I'm going to proxy it so I don't damage it in any way.
Yeah. What is it? Oh, the extended art or something?
Yeah, the extended art. Where is it?
From M21. Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, I have it double sleeved.
I don't blame you, man. I have a mixed opinion on proxies where there's 2 different types, where one proxy is, how do I want to say it? One proxy is fine, but I do think proxies are fine as long as the power level is agreed on. And you almost need to have the proxy discussion prior to any game. and like way prior, like a week in advance. Hey, do you guys want to play proxies? Because at some level, some of these people are walking in expecting, and that's the problem I have with like society in general, is when you walk somewhere and with one deck and you just expect to be accepted. It's like, wait a minute. You came to us wanting to play with us, and you're just all of a sudden going to be like kind of a jerk, right? Like where you're going to break the rules that we agreed to, and you've never been here before. I don't know if that makes sense. Like,
No, it does. I mean, it's either one of the two things. Either you're going to be of course you're going to be a dick, because if everyone's power level is say like 8 and you're running a 9, like that's a big problem. And so what's going to happen, it's the only deck that you have. So you're probably going to win turn 1.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably going to win game 1. And then what's going to happen is, because you're going to keep playing unless you fucking leave, but you're going to keep playing. And then literally everyone in every pod that you play in is going to be like, he's playing a higher level deck. We need to kill him first, and then we'll have a game of Magic.
Yeah. And I do people have fun playing like that?
I mean, like I said, I have weird combos. I don't like, most of my decks they're not budget, but a lot of the cards that I'm buying now are very budget heavy. And so I'm playing like pseudo budget. Granted, I'm running Ugins, but I'm running semi budget decks in a environment, in a shop that people proxy, so they don't even have the cards.
Yeah.
And so I agree upon it. I have fun doing it because because as long as I can like understand what the deck is, the same with standard, like competitive standard, as long as you know what the deck is, because 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, no one proxies a deck unless they find it online. And so it's pretty easy to follow, like, okay, they're running squirrels. What's the combo? I found the combo. You're running Yanet. I know exactly what's in Yanet because I used to run it, and I've seen the deck builds. And so that's what I like about Mariki, is taking cards, because I'm in such a high power level in this shop that I take the cards that I need. And then also I'm open for counters always for those infinite combos like Thassa's Oracle.
Well, and I think that's good. I just don't know if, like, okay, let's do Wheel of Fortune, Lion's Eye Diamond,
Yeah.
and Underworld Breach.
That's Underworld Breach again?
Underworld Breach is the one that lets you exile 3 cards and cast spells equal to you got to pay for their mana cost.
Right.
So you wheel and you keep on filling up your graveyard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. It just strikes me as if I saw that at every table, I'd be very close to bringing my Tabernacle, my printed off Tabernacle. And Tabernacle makes you pay 1 per each upkeep.
Mm-hmm.
So it strikes me as that's the problem I have with proxies. If you can't, like, it's no different when you're playing your real deck and somebody pulls out the proxy Underground Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And as somebody with like a budget, I find it like okay if somebody came up to me and say, hey John, we all like proxies here. Do you want to build a proxy deck next week? And we'll all play with our proxy decks. I was like, oh yeah, cool. Because I have 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if the experience is, let's look at these weird cards that we wouldn't normally be able to get and see what they do together.
If it is, they've been doing it for too fucking long, because it's very clear the way that they play. Because you play a deck enough times, you're very familiar with what you're about to top deck. Not like you know what it's going to be, but once you grab the card, you're like, okay, I see the card. I know what I'm going to do with it. If it's not a land.
Well, and it just frustrates me though, because it doesn't frustrate me like I have spent money on these cards as much as it frustrates me. Like, I don't know, like, it's like a whole, like, I don't know what's in your deck. It's so different if someone brings silver bordered cards to the game. It's like, I don't know what that card is. I don't know what synergies could be involved, because are you like that weird unhinged set where you could not mutate, but combine cards,
which
it's
was cool.
It's a pretty cool thing, But if you told me 2 weeks in advance, hey, can we do a silver bordered commander night? I'd be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Let me research it. But if you show up on day 0 saying, hey, I got these printed off cards, and I was just hoping to play Magic with you. And it's fetch, dual land, mana crypt, mana vault, Thassa's Oracle, you got your Lotus, and it's like, to me, it's almost disrespectful because you did not have, it's too late to have the rule 0 conversation.
Oh yeah, I mean everyone's proxy mana crypt in that shop, and like no one has mana crypt. Again, I know that they're doing it, and I know that they don't have it, but I still accept it because it is fun to play. I am enjoying myself. There are times where I'm like, that why is this infinite combo in there? And I'm,
Well,
as
and I
always.
think that's cool. And I think you're hitting on the major thing, which is you enjoying the playing experience.
What's that one silver bordered card that's a mutate card? That stupid fucking card.
I don't know.
I'm gonna try to find it while we talk. Yeah, but God, we rabbit trailed really fucking hard. I don't even remember how we got here.
No, this has been a cool kind of conversation.
No, I'm enjoying it.
I just think if you walk, like, I play with people with proxies, right?
Sure.
But I think if you're like, I own 2 mana crypts. The only
Do you
mana
really?
crypts that are in any of my deck, I owned 4 at one point, right? Like
Damn,
where,
bro.
well, and then 2 were poof gone, like a foil from Eternal Masters, and yeah, so it is what it is. But at some point, I only have 2 in decks. And even if I opened a third, I don't know which deck it would go into. Like, I have the full art promo from Double Masters and a regular one that was either Mystery Boosters or Eternal. But if I'm sitting there thinking, oh, I got your message.
That's the mutate commander that I was just thinking about. It just I was like, it's stuck in my head now, so I'm gonna send it. Wait, do you only run 2 mana crypts in like
All my decks, all 30 of them.
Okay, I figured all of them had mana crypts because
No.
you said that you only have 2 of them.
Nope, I only have 2 real copies. One's in Greven, and the other one is in my flashy mutate deck.
It's fair.
And, well, it's not about being fair or not. I think that's a rule 0 conversation, though, where I would say, oh, okay, do you mind if I grab a basic land and flip it upside down, and when we come across it, it's going to be a mana crypt and a mana vault. And I don't see any difference there, but I don't think players want to do that. And I don't think that discussion is happening at rule 0. And to me, that breaks rule 0 quite a bit, at least in my gameplay experience, is if I sit down and turn 1, I play a land and pass, and someone else says, play a land, play mana crypt, tap mana crypt, soul ring, mana vault. And I'm sitting there like, what did I sit down and play? And they're all proxies.
Oh yeah. I mean, at that point, then yeah, it would definitely be a conceding moment.
And so tell me, every time, like, I'm not a big fan of, I like their content, but the rule 0 conversation, because in my opinion, no one is sitting down and saying, by the way, I have proxies. And if I said, well, what proxies? I don't think they would say every single one of my deck has a mana crypt. I'm also not a fan, though, of mana crypts. If it's cool, the shop is cool everywhere. But if it's mana crypt in every single one of your decks, I think there's a problem there. Like, what if Soul Ring was like that, right? Like, I don't like Soul Ring, to be honest, because it feels like it's a mandatory slot in Commander that doesn't need to be. And maybe that's what I'm hinting at, is it's no different than mana crypt.